For millennia, the legend of Atlantis has captivated humanity, a technologically advanced civilization, swallowed by the sea in a single day and night. From ancient philosophers like Plato to modern treasure hunters, the quest for this lost city has fueled countless expeditions and endless speculation. But what if this isn't just a myth? What if recent discoveries beneath the waves suggest that the fantastical tales of Atlantis might hold more than a kernel of truth, pointing to a real city lost to the depths? We investigate. Our story begins in 2001, when a team of Canadian oceanographers made an astonishing discovery. Using advanced sonar technology, they detected a vast anomaly off the coast of Cuba, near the remote Guanahacobides Peninsula. This wasn't a natural reef or a known shipwreck. What their instruments revealed was far more intriguing, sparking immediate comparisons to the most famous lost city of all, Atlantis. The implications of this initial detection were profound and immediate. The site, quickly dubbed the Cuban underwater city by some, was not easily accessible. It lay at an impressive depth, presenting significant challenges for direct observation. This immense pressure and darkness meant that initial assessments had to rely entirely on sophisticated remote sensing. The very location underscored the mystery. If this were truly a city, its submergence would speak to catastrophic geological events, or a timeline of human history far different from conventional understanding. Specifically, the sonar data indicated the structures rested at approximately 650 to 750 meters below the surface. To put this into perspective, that's over half a mile down, an environment where sunlight never penetrates and pressures are immense. This depth immediately sets it apart from many other underwater archaeological sites, placing it firmly in the realm of deep-sea exploration, where technology and resources are stretched to their absolute limits for even basic reconnaissance. Preliminary sonar images began to reveal the contours of something extraordinary. The data didn't show random debris or natural rock formations, instead, geometric patterns emerged. Researchers detected what appeared to be pyramids, distinct intersecting roads, and outlines of large buildings. The sheer regularity and scale of these formations suggested an organized urban layout, covering several square kilometers. This was the first visual evidence that this could indeed be a lost city. Paulina Zalitsky, the expedition leader and CEO of Advanced Digital Communications, or ADC, was unequivocal in her assessment. She described the observed structures as clearly man-made and stated they were unlike any known natural geological formations in the region. This was a critical claim, as distinguishing between natural processes and artificial construction is often the first hurdle in underwater archaeology. Zalitsky's experience lent weight to the proposition that an intelligence had shaped these forms. Zalitsky's assertion that the structures were clearly man-made is central to the "Is this Atlantis?" question. It moves the discussion beyond mere geological anomaly to potential archaeological site. Her team highlighted the regularity, symmetry, and architectural coherence suggested by the sonar, arguing that natural forces, even over millennia, would not produce such precise geometric patterns across such a wide area. This claim ignited the debate, suggesting an unknown civilization's footprint. With the possibility of man-made structures established, the next profound question emerged: who built them? Some researchers suggested the city might have been constructed by an unknown civilization, one that significantly predates established human history in the Americas. This hypothesis is radical, challenging conventional timelines of settlement and development across the continent, and lending considerable weight to the idea that this could be a lost, advanced society, echoing the descriptions of Atlantis. To understand how a city could end up 700 meters beneath the waves, we must look to the region's geology. The area off the Cuban coast is known for its active tectonic plate boundaries. Specifically, it's a zone where the North American and Caribbean plates interact. This geological context is highly significant, providing a plausible mechanism for massive land subsidence over long periods, an essential component for any deeply submerged ancient city, including Atlantis. The continuous, slow grind of these titanic plates against each other can lead to dramatic geological changes over millennia. Fault lines, volcanic activity, and gradual sinking of crustal blocks are all characteristic of such zones. If a city were built on land in this region, the tectonic forces could indeed have caused it to submerge gradually, or perhaps even catastrophically, over an immense stretch of time, consistent with the narrative of a lost civilization. Geological studies provide a critical timeline. Experts indicate that for a large landmass to submerge to a depth of 650 to 750 meters, it would require a period of at least 10,000 to 12,000 years. This corresponds precisely to the end of the last ice age, a period of massive global climate change and dramatic sea level rise. This geological estimate is not just a number, it is a profound historical marker that points directly towards the era of Plato's Atlantis. This geological timeline leads us directly back to the most famous source of the Atlantis legend, the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. In his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, Plato describes Atlantis as a powerful naval empire. He places its existence approximately 9,600 BC, which translates to around 11,600 years ago. The alignment between the geological estimate for the Cuban site's submergence and Plato's mythical date is striking, making the "is this Atlantis?" question ever more compelling. Plato's descriptions of Atlantis go beyond mere dates. He envisioned a technologically advanced society with impressive architecture. His texts detail massive harbors, an elaborate system of canals, and complex urban planning designed for defense and efficiency. He spoke of rich resources, advanced engineering, and a powerful civilization that eventually succumbed to its own hubris, prompting the gods to sink it beneath the waves. This grand vision offers a framework for comparison. Let's put these timelines side by side. On one hand, geological studies indicate the Cuban underwater city could only have submerged to its current depth between 10,000 and 12,000 years ago. On the other, Plato's account of Atlantis places its downfall around 9,600 BC, which translates to roughly 11,600 years ago. The striking overlap within a 2,000-year window, considering the imprecise nature of ancient texts and geological dating, is statistically compelling for proponents. When we compare the preliminary sonar images of the Cuban underwater city to Plato's architectural descriptions, some intriguing parallels emerge. Plato spoke of orderly urban planning, with intersecting roads and monumental buildings. The sonar data, even at its current resolution, showed distinctly geometric structures, including apparent road networks and large building outlines. Is this merely a coincidence, or does it hint at a shared design philosophy, or even the same civilization? Among the most compelling individual structures identified by sonar were features that appeared to be pyramids. The existence of pyramids within a deep-sea city off Cuba would be revolutionary, especially when considering the age of submergence. These are not simple mounds, the sonar indicated distinct, angular shapes. For many, the very presence of pyramid-like structures at such depths and estimated age immediately evokes images of an advanced, lost civilization, the very essence of Atlantis. So, we are left with a series of intriguing convergences, a deep-sea discovery of seemingly man-made structures, a geological timeline matching the end of the last ice age, and a precise alignment with the mythical date and architectural descriptions of Plato's Atlantis. For many proponents, these factors together make the Cuban underwater city the strongest candidate yet for the legendary lost continent. The evidence, they argue, is too compelling to dismiss as mere coincidence. However, rigorous investigation demands that we also explore the counter-arguments. The scientific community, by its nature, maintains a cautious skepticism, especially when claims verge into the realm of the legendary. One significant counter-argument comes from geologists who caution that sonar can sometimes misinterpret natural rock formations. In areas with complex geology, it's possible for sonar to create phantom artificial structures from unique natural erosion patterns. The challenge for deep-sea sonar is immense. The ocean floor is a dynamic environment, shaped by volcanic activity, seismic events, and erosion over millions of years. Geological formations can, by chance, exhibit surprising regularity. Underwater currents can carve rocks into intriguing shapes, and unique mineral deposits can create patterns that, to a two-dimensional sonar image, might appear unnaturally geometric. This ambiguity calls for a higher standard of proof. Perhaps the most critical void in the Cuban Atlantis theory is the conspicuous lack of physical evidence. All observations to date are based solely on sonar data. There are no artifacts, no pottery shards, no tools, no inscriptions, and no definitive architectural features that could be recovered and analyzed to confirm human construction. Without tangible objects that can be brought to the surface and dated, the claims remain speculative, however intriguing. In archaeology, physical artifacts are the bedrock of evidence. They provide undeniable proof of human presence, culture, and technological capabilities. Even simple tools or remnants of daily life can tell stories of ancient civilizations. The absence of such findings at the Cuban site, despite the sonar's geometric indications, leaves a critical gap in the narrative. Until an expedition can bring tangible proof to the surface, the man-made assertion remains debated. History offers cautionary tales in the search for Atlantis. One prominent example is the Bimini Road, a distinctive underwater rock formation off the coast of the Bahamas. For decades, it was hailed by many as a potential remnant of Atlantis, its linear configuration and rectangular blocks seemingly too perfect to be natural. It was cited as evidence of an ancient harbor or wall. This comparison is vital for assessing the Cuban site. However, extensive geological studies eventually attributed the Bimini Road largely to natural geological processes, specifically beachrock formations. Beachrock forms when sand and other sediments are cemented together by carbonates in the intertidal zone. As sea levels rose, these formations became submerged. This scientific consensus transformed a once compelling Atlantis candidate into a natural wonder, serving as a powerful reminder of how easily nature can mimic artificiality. Returning to the Cuban site, the sheer depth of 650 to 750 meters poses immense practical challenges for direct archaeological investigation. This is not a shallow water dive, it requires highly specialized equipment, including advanced ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, or even manned submersibles capable of withstanding crushing pressures. Such expeditions are technically complex, time-consuming, and carry substantial financial implications, slowing the pace of definitive research. The estimated cost for a comprehensive deep-sea archaeological expedition to the Cuban underwater city, one that could involve deploying multiple manned submersibles and state-of-the-art ROVs, could easily run into tens of millions of dollars. This staggering sum reflects the high-risk, high-tech nature of such operations. Securing this level of funding for an unproven site is a significant hurdle, which explains the slow progress in obtaining definitive proof since 2001. Paul Weinsweig, another key member of the Advanced Digital Communications team, echoed the sentiment regarding the scale of the undertaking. He stated explicitly that it's going to take years of dedicated research and significant funding to properly explore and authenticate this discovery. This is not a project for quick answers, but a multi-decade endeavor requiring sustained commitment from scientific institutions and potential private investors willing to tackle deep-sea mysteries. Given these challenges, the scientific community largely maintains a position of cautious skepticism. Despite the compelling sonar data and the remarkable alignment with Plato's timeline, the absence of concrete physical evidence means that most mainstream archaeologists and geologists consider the Cuban Atlantis theory unproven. They await definitive proof in the form of recovered artifacts or indisputable architectural elements that defy natural explanation. Another critical layer to the "is this Atlantis?" question is Plato's original intent. Many classical scholars argue that Plato himself presented the story of Atlantis as an allegorical tale. It was a philosophical device, they contend, used to discuss ideal societies, the corrupting influence of power, and the dangers of human hubris, rather than a factual historical account meant to be taken literally. This perspective significantly impacts how we interpret the Cuban findings. If Plato's Atlantis was indeed a moral fable, then searching for its physical remains becomes a potentially futile exercise. The details he provided, while vivid, might have been constructed for literary effect rather than historical accuracy. This interpretation suggests that even if a lost city is found, its connection to Plato's Atlantis is merely circumstantial, based on parallels that may not have been intended to correspond to any real-world location. However, proponents of a literal Atlantis argue that many ancient myths, while embellished, often contain kernels of historical truth. They suggest that stories of great floods, lost cities, or advanced civilizations could be based on real events, passed down through generations via oral tradition before being recorded by figures like Plato. From this perspective, Plato might have been inspired by older traditions or real cataclysms, making the search for a physical Atlantis valid. The Cuban underwater city isn't the only site to reignite global interest in Atlantis. Other locations have been proposed as potential candidates, each with its own set of intriguing, yet unproven, evidence. These comparisons are valuable for contextualizing the Cuban discovery and understanding the broader human fascination with lost civilizations. Such candidates include the Ricat structure in Mauritania and the volcanic complex near Santorini. The Ricat structure, often called the Eye of the Sahara, is a prominent geological dome in Mauritania, whose concentric rings have led some to propose it matches Plato's description of Atlantis' circular city. In contrast, Santorini, a Greek island, is a volcanic caldera that suffered a catastrophic eruption around 1600 BC. This event inspired theories of Atlantis, due to the island's circular shape and the sudden, devastating submergence of parts of the ancient city of Akrotiri. Each offers a different parallel. Despite these other theories, the Cuban underwater city remains unique due to its depth, the apparent geometric precision of its structures, and the remarkable alignment of its estimated submergence time with Plato's dating. It is a mystery that remains profoundly unresolved, a tantalizing whisper from a forgotten past. Until further expeditions can overcome the immense logistical and financial hurdles, its true nature will continue to be debated in academic circles and among enthusiasts alike. Even if the Cuban underwater city is not definitively Atlantis in the literal Platonic sense, its discovery forces us to confront a larger, equally profound possibility: the existence of unknown ancient civilizations that flourished before the commonly accepted timelines of human history. The geological evidence for its age strongly suggests a society existing at the very end of the last ice age, an era where our understanding of complex human cultures is still incredibly limited. The Cuban underwater city, whether it proves to be a natural formation or a testament to a lost civilization, stands as a powerful reminder of humanity's enduring curiosity and the vast unknowns that still lie beneath the ocean's surface. It compels us to question, to explore, and to push the boundaries of our understanding of history and the natural world. The ocean, it seems, still holds secrets that could redefine our origins. The question, "Is this Atlantis?" lingers. While the scientific community awaits definitive physical proof, the compelling sonar images, the expert interpretations, and the remarkable chronological alignment with Plato's account ensure that the Cuban underwater city will remain a subject of intense fascination. It is a testament to the persistent allure of the lost and forgotten, a beacon for future expeditions into the deep, dark unknowns of our planet. What do you think? Does the evidence surrounding the Cuban underwater city make a strong case for it being the legendary Atlantis? Or is the scientific skepticism warranted, awaiting more tangible proof? Join the conversation in the comments below. Your insights and theories are a vital part of exploring these profound mysteries. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into history and science, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation.